in, baby. Hey guys,
it's funny you say that. I feel like it's easy.
I feel like Tom Cruise on the scene of the Top Gun movie, about ready to head down the airplane strip with this thing when I get on it. It sounds just like the Ninja 1000.
To dismiss the fact that this was 2 years after the Top Gun bike in '85.
Same motor. It's a Ninja 1000 motor.
It's essentially the same bike, but with the touring fairing, the bags, and set up for sport.
It's got this massive 7.4 gallon tank, so you can go cross country on this on a single tank, practically. Might have to stop a couple times, but just an awesome sport touring machine. This bike is, again, Ninja 1000, 4-cylinder, liquid cooled, inline 4-cylinder engine with only 25,000 miles. These are notorious for being extremely long-lived, and this one's got a ton of work just been done to it, and it's ready to go cross country. It's got, in addition to the 4-cylinder Ninja motor, the big differences between this and the Ninja is they went from a 32 millimeter carb to a 28 millimeter carb. The cams are a little bit milder on it, and it's got shaft drive, so it's like a zero maintenance motor. Just change the oil every 3,000 miles and you're golden. It also comes with these massive, quickly detachable, removable luggage. I'll show you how those come off later. And there's tons of storage on here. If you're gonna go cross country or to the beach with your girlfriend, this is a hot setup. Tons of storage. They're like Samsonite luggage, basically, but made by Kawasaki. Full fairing with still has a sporty look to it. But when you compare how this thing rides compared to like a 1987 Goldwing, let's say, or any other full touring bike, this thing's like a little rocket ship. As you see, it turns on a dime, real sharp turning radius, and it handles great. It's got the Unitrack rear suspension, triple disc brakes front and rear, and the bike's just been completely serviced by the best in the business. Actually, Jeff from All Sport Cycle. We outsourced the work on this to him because we're backed up, but it's just been completely gone through. I have the work order inside. Everything's been gone through on the bike. It's got a brand new battery in it. All the bulbs in it are either good or replaced. The headlight's been upgraded. It's got a brand new mirror on this side. It's a $170 OEM mirror. The gas tank was cleaned out and rinsed out with the metal rescue, so the tank's been cleaned. It has a brand new petcock on it. The fuel lines are new, and the entire carburetor system was taken off, completely dismantled, and rebuilt and cleaned. So the carbs have been done, the tank, the fuel line, the petcock, the whole fuel system is basically brand new on it. The brake system's been completely rebuilt also. If you take a look right here, the original spongy lines have been upgraded with braided stainless lines in the front and braided stainless lines in the rear. The calipers are in excellent shape and fully rebuilt. The rotors are in good condition, and the master cylinder has been rebuilt also with new fluid in it. So the whole front brake system's redone. The whole rear brake system has been redone. Also, actually the rear doesn't have the braided stainless lines. It's got the stock line on it, but the rear system has been refreshed also. All the fluids are new in the bike. The rear final drive, the oil, the air filter has been gone through. So I have the work order inside. I'll go over that with you in a minute, but at this point, I probably want to take it for a test ride and show you how good it runs. 6-speed transmission. It's an overdrive transmission, triple disc brakes, long travel suspension front and rear, and an awesome sport touring package. So it's about as good as it gets. They made this bike from 1984 to 2006 at a 22-year run, virtually unchanged mechanically. Just a few different modifications, but the basic setup was the same. So
throw the helmet on and take it for a ride.
I'm gonna take it for a rip. I wanted to point out one thing. See this cover right here? There was a matching one on this side right here. A snap-on one that blew off riding down the highway. We have one on order. Unfortunately, it didn't come in before the test, but it will have that on there. So the bike needs absolutely nothing. Everything works beautifully. All the gauges, the tachometer, the speedometer, fuel gauge, the oil temp gauge, the digital clock, everything's like brand new on it. Every function on the bike works perfect. Turn signals, brake signals, brake lights. I'd like to grab the work order and go over that. Do you want to do that when I get back?
I think you just about covered everything, but if you want to go grab the
just
work
hold
order
it
and
for
put the
1
helmet
second.
on,
Yeah.
it's
I'm not sure if we mentioned yet. I don't think we did. This bike was donated to the museum. Kenny actually took the donation in from one of our benefactors, and we went right through it. We put thousands of dollars of work into the bike, and I was checking the comprehensive vintage motorcycle price guide. This is a new 2020 edition, and this bike has the ZG1000 A2 Concours 1000 Touring has a number 1 condition of $6,300 and a number 2 condition of $4,900. I'm an AMCA judge and also an ambassador for the club, and I also own the museum. I know a little bit about bikes. So I'm going to judge this as a number 2 bike. Number 3 bike is $3,500, and number 2 bike is $4,900, and number 1 bike is $6,300. I'm going to call this a number 2 bike because it's mechanically perfect and just been refreshed, and it's got low miles on it, but it's not brand new, and it's got a little bit of patina, a couple scratches on it. So as you'd expect for a 32-year-old 25,000 mile bike, but to find one this well sorted out with the brakes done and everything done on it and the carbs, they're few and far between. Most of them were ridden into the ground and have high miles on them. So this is like a time capsule, this one, and it's worth every bit of the $4,900. We have the title in hand to the bike right here, and I've got the work order on it, and go over the parts list with you. A brand new battery, 4 new spark plugs, all new engine oil. It has a new fuel gauge sending unit. I forgot about that. I did mention the new petcock, the new light bulbs, new brake pads all the way around, and new tires front and rear. These are top of the line Avon Spirit tires. New fuel line and filter, some new hardware, new valve cover gasket. The valve cover was taken off and painted. Also, braided stainless lines on the front. The new right-hand mirror, and then of course this cover that we ordered. That's on order. The parts total was $1,342. The labor, there was 29 hours of labor put into the bike, and that includes 4 or 5 hours in the detail shop. The total work order came out to 29 hours. With the parts, the total was $3,875 plus tax. It was $4,118. That's what the work order came out to, which is a lot of money, but the bike needs to be done right, and it's got our name on it. And I'd sell this bike to my best friend and know he'd be safe, or I'd have my son ride cross country on this saying, no, he's got the best of everything. The brakes, tires, everything's done on it. New battery, all the mechanicals have been gone through. So it's a $4,000 investment, $1,400 in parts and shipping, and the rest in labor. So that pretty much summarizes the paperwork end of it. It's got a clean title in hand. If you have any questions about the bike, give us a call at 860-454-7024. She's a beauty. It's a classy color. Oh, I did read, I'll talk about the other stuff while I'm riding. Let me throw the helmet on and take it for a rip.
Let's do it.
Now my favorite part of every video is I get to ride the bike. So it's on the center stand right now. Sits nice and level. Electric start, of course, fires right up perfectly. Thanks, Steve. I'll talk to you soon. All the gauges work perfectly. I think the horn's been upgraded on it. It has a really loud horn. I noticed that when I tested it earlier. Sounds like a jet engine. Reminds me of the 4-cylinder Ninja 16 valve. Has a very sophisticated sound to it with the stock exhaust. Very nice. Very smooth bike, as you'd expect for a Ninja. Concours, ZG1000 Concours Sport Touring bike. With an emphasis towards the sport, it's got the right motor, transmission, 6-speed overdrive. Plenty of power. Do well over 120 miles an hour, loaded for bear. And they're rock stable on the highway at high speeds. These bikes have been going up in value for years now. It's when you buy a new bike, as you know, as soon as you roll it off the lot, it depreciates big time. And the next couple of years, it goes down from there. This bike, on the other hand, has been going up for the last decade or so. The first 15 to 20 years they depreciate, then around the 15, 20 year mark, most bikes start going up in value because most of them are ridden into the ground. They become more rare. In Connecticut, they become a classic at 20 years. This one's 32 years old. Most states it's 20 or 25 years you can get a classic plate or antique plate, as they call it. Nice seating position on it. An emphasis more towards touring than sport on the seating position. The bars have about a 6-inch riser on them, whereas most cafe racers might have a 1 or 2 inch riser, so you're in more of an upright position. A little bit easier on the back. And the fairing is right about eye level. You can see over it, which is exactly where I like it. Pulls nice. Very smooth. Definitely full foliage out now. We had a big rainstorm the other day and a lot of the leaves blew off the trees, but there's still a good amount of foliage. I think peak foliage is, I would say, this weekend. Unfortunately, we did lose some of them. We're still nice and warm out. 60 plus degrees. That's warm for Connecticut this time of year. And certainly the full fairing extends your riding season quite a bit. Plenty of power, that's for sure. Looks like we got rain coming. Pretty cloudy out today. We'll take her up on the highway. We'll go up one exit and get off. Get home before it starts raining out. The bike's just been detailed. The bike was detailed by Doc. We call him Doc because he's got a PhD in detailing. The bike's been washed and waxed top to bottom. We're getting a little mist on the fairing here, so it's about 100% humidity out right now. If it does start raining, you can tuck in behind the fairing. Super stable at highway speeds. You really feel the windshield doing its thing, blowing the wind right up over your head. Exactly what it's supposed to do. The forks are adjustable also. You can put more air pressure in the forks if you're carrying a heavy load. The fuel we put in here, we actually put a V-Star fuel in it. It's a non-ethanol fuel. These motors are good for 100,000 miles plus. Billy Blythe, one of our lead techs, he's got a 1000 with a Kawi 1000 4-cylinder from this era with, I think, 80,000 miles on it. He's a professional road racer. He rode that thing hard and he never had any problems with it. It's been a great bike for him and his wife. They tour all over on it. Took it to Daytona last year. So there's plenty of forums out there. You can do research on this bike. You'll find it's got a reputation for being notoriously reliable. The engines are pretty much bulletproof. Great handling bike. And this one's just been completely sorted through. Doesn't need anything but a new home. You take care of it, it'll be good for another 32 years. Just don't abuse it. Change the oil, keep it clean and inside, high and dry, and it'll stay like this forever. Clearly it's a time capsule right now. Turn signal indicators, everything works exactly like it did when it was brand new. Hallmark of a good design. The bike doesn't look dated either. It's an 87, but it looks fairly modern. The body style is timeless design. If you need a place to store the bike for the winter, you can leave it here at the museum till spring, no problem. We got plenty of storage here. We're actually doing motorcycle storage for local riders for $250 for 6 months. It's included free if you buy the bike here. And we'll give you free museum tickets so you can come tour the museum with your family. So this is air pressure right here. These pop off, and then there's a air chalk on there. You can add in some air pressure, make it more stable at highway speeds, a little bit stiffer. Idles beautifully, right at 1,000 RPM. Being liquid cooled, it's going to run nice and cool even if you're in traffic at Daytona or Laconia or Sturgis, wherever you may be traveling. Or if you're just on a cross-country trip out in the desert.